Okay, so we're diving deep today, really deep, into something I think a lot of us are thinking about, and that's healthy aging, but specifically for women.
And we've got this great blog post to kind of guide us. Be Aware, Empowering Women's Health, it's called, right?
Yeah, that's the one.
And I love how it tackles this whole idea of balance, finding that balance as we age, but also beauty, and not just like superficial beauty, but beauty that comes from within.
Right, that inner strength.
Exactly, that inner strength that we need to navigate all the changes that come with getting older.
And it's so important to emphasize that this isn't just about avoiding getting sick, This is about really thriving.
Totally. Feeling good physically, but also, like you said, emotionally, mentally, the whole package.
Absolutely. And the blog does a great job, I think, of pointing out that women, we have unique experiences as we age.
You do.
Hormonal shifts, bone health, how our skin changes, even our emotional well-being.
All of that plays a part, yeah.
And because, women often live longer than men, really understanding these age-related changes is huge.
It's not just a small thing to consider. It's a big part of our lives.
It is. And something that really struck me when I was reading this blog post was how some of these aging aspects that are very specific to women, they don't always get talked about enough.
Right. They kind of get lost in the broader conversation about aging.
Exactly. Like, hormonal imbalances, osteoporosis, the fact that heart disease can present differently in women.
Yeah. And even just those moments of forgetfulness.
Oh, yeah. We've all been there.
We have, but it's important to know when it's, something to look into a little more.
Absolutely. And the blog really emphasizes that, by understanding these challenges and having the right support, we can actually manage them much more effectively.
We can. And that's really what this whole idea of healthy aging is all about, right?
Yeah.
It impacts our quality of life, like in big ways.
Big ways, yeah. Like our independence, our ability to stay connected with the people we love, even just having the energy to do the things we enjoy.
Exactly. And I think this blog, it does a great job of empowering women to take control of their aging journey, to be informed, to advocate for themselves.
Right. It's about being proactive and not just feeling like things are happening to you.
Exactly. And I like how the blog post kind of lays out some specific signs and symptoms that women should have on their radar.
Yeah, things to be aware of.
Yeah. So fatigue, for example.
Yeah.
Like it's easy to just brush it off as, oh, I'm just tired, which, to be honest, we all are sometimes.
Oh, all the time.
Right. But the blog points out that it could be linked to other things that are going on, like anemia or hormonal changes or even, your thyroid.
Right. So if you're feeling that persistent low energy, it's worth getting it checked out.
It is. And then there's the memory lapses, which, again, we all have those moments where we're like, where are my keys? Or what was I just doing?
Totally. But the blog makes a good point about, if you're having persistent cognitive issues, like beyond those little everyday slip-ups.
Right. Might be time to, talk to your doctor about it.
Exactly. And then, joint pain and stiffness, which a lot of people just associate with, oh, I'm getting older.
Yeah. It could be something like arthritis or muscle loss, which are things that you can actually address.
Absolutely. And the blog doesn't shy away from some of the bigger challenges, like the increased risk of osteoporosis.
Especially after menopause, yeah.
Right. And then there are the hormonal changes themselves, which, let's be real, they can be pretty intense.
They can, yeah. Hot flashes, mood swings, sleep problems.
Oh, even changes to your skin and hair.
Things like thinner skin, less elasticity, hair loss, even changes in color.
And it's easy to just think, well, that's just part of getting older.
But the blog really encourages us to not just accept these changes without, exploring what we can do.
Right. And I love how it emphasizes that early intervention can make a huge difference.
It can? And that's so important, being proactive instead of reactive.
Absolutely. And the blog also offers some really practical lifestyle advice, like things we can actually do to support healthy aging.
Yeah. And it starts with nutrition, which we all know is important, but it's especially crucial as we get older.
It is, and the blog really highlights those nutrient-dense foods, lots of fruits, vegetables, whole grains.
Lean proteins, calcium, vitamin D.
Right, all those things that keep our bones strong, our immune system healthy.
Exactly, and then of course there's physical activity.
Oh, can't forget that.
Right, and the blog recommends at least 150 minutes of moderate activity per week.
Which sounds like a lot, but it's really not that much when you break it down.
It's not. And importantly, it includes strength training, which is so key for maintaining muscle mass and balance as we age.
Right. And then something we all probably need more of, sleep.
Oh, absolutely. The blog recommends aiming for 7 to 8 hours of quality sleep every night.
7 to 8, I don't know if I'm hitting that.
It's tough, but it's so important for our cognitive function, our hormones, our immune system.
So we got to make it a priority.
We do. And then there are those things that we should be limiting or avoiding altogether, like alcohol and smoking.
Yeah, the blog points out that those can really speed up the aging process.
They do. And increase the risk of chronic illness.
And then there are those like smaller habits that we might not think about as much.
But they really add up over time.
Like wearing sunscreen every day and moisturizing.
Which isn't just about vanity. It's about protecting your skin from damage and preventing skin cancer.
Right, and stress management, which is like a huge one.
It is. Chronic stress can really accelerate aging.
So finding ways to relax, whether it's yoga, meditation, deep breathing.
Whatever works for you, yeah.
Exactly. And then beyond those lifestyle changes, the blog also talks about the importance of seeking expert guidance, working with your doctor.
Having a personalized health plan. Yeah.
Exactly. And regular screenings.
Mammograms, bone density scans, cholesterol checks, cognitive assessments.
All those things that can help catch things early.
Early detection is key, yeah.
And then the blog also mentions hormone therapy, which can be a really helpful option for some women going through menopause.
But it's definitely a decision to make in consultation with your doctor.
Absolutely. And supplements, things like calcium, vitamin D, B12, omega-3s.
Again, talk to your doctor about what's right for you based on your health history and blood work.
Right, not a one-size-fits-all situation.
Nope. And I really appreciate that the blog also brings up mental health care.
Yes, so important.
It's a vital component of healthy aging, and it shouldn't be overlooked.
Therapy, support groups, even medication if needed.
Whatever it takes to manage mood disorders or cognitive decline.
And I like how the blog also mentions alternative therapies.
Like acupuncture, massage, herbal medicine.
Right, kind of a holistic approach to well-being.
Exactly. And this all ties into the blog's discussion of the emotional and mental aspects of aging, which, we can't ignore that.
No, we can't. There are so many emotional shifts that women experience as they get older.
Retirement, changes in family dynamics, maybe feeling less visible.
And, sometimes physical limitations can lead to anxiety, sadness, even a loss of purpose.
Yeah, it's important to acknowledge those feelings.
And the blog really frames mental health as a fundamental part of healthy aging.
It is, and it encourages us to prioritize emotional wellness.
Journaling, therapy, staying connected with friends and family, pursuing hobbies, spiritual practices.
Whatever brings you joy, yeah.
Absolutely. And just like with physical health, the blog really stresses that it's okay to ask for help with your mental health.
It is. Don't be afraid to reach out for support.
So as we kind of wrap up this deep dive into the Be Aware Empowering Women's Health blog, what's like a key takeaway for you?
I think for me, it's this idea that, yes, aging is a natural process, but we have more control over how we experience it than we might realize.
I love that sense of empowerment.
And the blog does a beautiful job of presenting aging as a privilege.
It is. It really is.
And it encourages us to be proactive, to take those steps, to really shape our own journey.
And even just one small positive action today can make a difference, right?
Absolutely. Whether it's scheduling that checkup, calling a friend, dusting off a hobby, even just drinking more water.
Those little things add up over time.
They do. And they can lead to a healthier, more fulfilling life.
And so, as we leave you today, here's something to think about. Your aging journey is unique to you. It deserves your attention, it deserves your care, and it deserves your empowerment.
So be informed, be connected, be proactive.
And remember, you're not just adding years to your life, you're adding life to your years.
Aging with strength, grace, and vitality. So until next time, stay curious and stay well.